Good morning.
Morning, Mita. You actually have a conference room called Tequila Sunrise?
Yes,
That's great.
it's a good way to wake up.
Yeah.
Are you in the Bay Area, Charlie? I might have
Yes, San Jose.
Oh, nice. Okay, we're not too far then.
No.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Morning, Roy.
Oh, yeah. A long time no see, meet her.
Yeah.
I I was busy, so probably over 1 month I didn't attend this meeting.
Oh, then I think you'll be surprised at the progress. Seems like we're pretty close.
Oh, I see. I follow up all the progress through the document, and yeah, it's almost done.
I'm hoping Drew's going to join today because he was talking about taking it to the steering committee.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see Drew online, but I was just taking a quick look at the doc itself. I wonder if folks have gone through the first part with the acknowledgement section. It looks a little bit off to me, especially the first one with AMD, which says was ZT. Majid, I think you're in that, your name is listed next to that. I can share it.
Yeah, can I see that? Vita.
Is that, that's not correct, right?
It says AMD and ZT connects. It's in the Google Doc
Yeah,
document.
let me just share it
Yeah,
quickly.
thank you.
Uh, this section here, I see your name and Vilas's name.
Yeah, I think
But-
that's for Hank, so you can remove was ZT. Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was yeah, because ZT. Yeah, just
Okay.
yeah, that's correct.
And I'm guessing this might be some, maybe with,
Yeah, I think the second and third row should be me and Vilas. Yeah, that's yeah, I can.
I'm not sure if Yogesh did it this way to try and group people together. Well, I don't see the other companies grouped in the same
Yeah.
way. So, yeah, so if I can just,
Yeah,
I
please.
think
Yeah.
typically the way we should do is just have names and in the bracket company name, that's it. Not like 2 column. Is it, let's take a look at other document, how we done. And also this title and all that, I don't think we put like titles and all that. Title can change, right?
yeah, I don't want to make too many changes because it looks like someone, most likely Yogesh, has just taken a last pass at it. Let me see who did that.
You know, maybe just add a comment, table needs to be cleaned up, kind of as a footnote. And whoever was editing it then can take care of that.
Yeah, I just looked at the hardware fault management document. I think there is a three column, name, title, and company. So maybe we want to just take consistent with that. I don't remember in the general external documents having a titles.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
But Anil,
discuss
you
that.
have a good point. We should be consistent with, if the other documents are consistently following one format, we should do that. If the other documents, each one has their own format, then it's up to us to decide what we want.
Right.
Yeah, Anil, I don't know because the only other document that I have seen so far is the FM one. Do you know of others like?
Yeah, I mean, look at our OCP hardware fault management requirement
Yeah, that's
document.
the only one that I've seen. Is that consistent with all the other OCP documents, or is that also a?
So at least among us, right, in this, our sub project, you know, we have multiple documents. At least within those, we should be consistent. I think we can reach out. Yeah, I can look at other document. Give me a second to see how the naming convention is. I just looked at to OCP spec. OCP spec doesn't have any names, but I've seen some other external industry documents with like JDEC, I think has that. Let me just open
Yeah,
JDEC.
so I do know that this document is the closest one we are to releasing. So, you know, if I don't want to make a huge change here right now unless you know, if we have to stay consistent, then maybe we can just stay consistent to this format. Since the other ones are a little further away from releasing. So I don't know where Drew is with taking this to the steering committee,
No,
etc.
other way around, right? Hardware fault management, was already released. It's been public. This is not public yet, right? I mean, sorry, not released yet, right?
You mean the hardware fault management from 2 years ago, or the
Yeah.
one that we are with? Okay, that one doesn't even have this section as far as I know.
No, it's there. It was there. The contributor name, right?
Okay. Mm.
If you have it handy, open it.
I do not have the link.
If you want, I can share. I can show you.
Yeah, sure. Why don't you send the link?
Sure. I think you need to stop sharing first.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the one I'm referring to.
Yeah, but
And
this is the draft one that we are working on today, not the released one.
oh, I mean, yeah, we didn't change it. This has been there. So let me look at, well, we can just go straight to OCP, open compute. And contributions, database, and fault. Oh, sorry. Okay. Actually, you're right. My bad. We didn't have that list. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So that means this is the first time we're building. So we should, yeah. Then I agree with you. Let's decide. I think Yogesh is not here, right? Maybe we
Yeah,
can take it in the next Friday meeting. When are you planning to release this?
So I'm not in that loop. I do know that between Yogesh and Drew, they were planning to go to the steering committee with it. I don't know if they already have sent it or not. So that's why I don't want to make any change if they are like in the middle of it.
Yeah. That's okay. I mean, we can just put a note there, as Charlie mentioned, and then Yogesh or maybe just give an action item to Yogesh to be consistent with other OCP documents.
Sounds good. Yeah.
So do you want me to update that, Mika, or just leave it as it is for now?
Yeah, update your names and everything, whatever need to be there,
Okay,
right?
I'll try to make it aligned to the other companies. So I'll just use
Yeah.
a role for each person at AMD. I just update it.
Thanks, Majid.
Yeah, of course.
And I guess we don't need the WAS ZT anymore, right? Because I mean, I don't know.
Yes, yeah, it should be AMD, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if anyone else had anything. Evan, I don't know if you were making any last minute adjustments to this doc that you wanted to chat about, but as we don't have Drew here.
Were there any edits required, or are we done with? Is it in a like finished state?
That was the question I think we got last week, because I don't see any other outstanding comments on the doc.
Actually, we have an internal review, but we didn't add the comments. So just after this meeting, we will add some comment on that.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Anyone else wants to take a final review since we are pretty close, then it will be good to get all the comments in at the same time.
So if you go to the first page, the title page,
Yeah.
you want to share or you want to share?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hang on one sec. Yeah. Drew's on his way.
So I see version and revision.
I actually asked Yogesh about that a couple of months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would just pick one, just version, right? There's no need to have version and revision.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's similar in the FM Friday one as well. It's two separate things.
Yeah. In the table of contents, don't we have the page numbers?
See, show page numbers. That shouldn't be controversial, right? It's done.
Right.
Roy, you mentioned that you will be adding comments. Anything that you want to chat about right now while folks are here, or
Yeah, just after this meeting, actually the one member who went over the document was not here today. So just after this meeting, I will add some comments on the latest part of the document.
okay.
One question, is there any reason the problem statement font is different size than rest of document?
It should not be, so we can fix that. There's the font size for. Sorry, my Zoom is kind of
The rest of document looks like is source 10 size or something. Source and Pro. Yeah, Source and Pro, I think OCP uses for presentations.
okay.
I don't know if
can
that's what we all have to use it, but just be
Yeah.
consistent.
Sure. Sorry, I'm on my laptop here, which doesn't have an external mouse. Okay. That good, right?
Yeah. It's something in the problem statement, CPU vendors.
Where are you looking?
In the
Anil?
problem statement, sorry, to be honest with you, I have not read this document in any meaningful way. I've been supporting only when the need basis. So in the fifth line, CPU vendors. Instead of CPU vendors, should we say SoC vendor, because the memory is not only attached to CPU, but can be attached to accelerators, various other kind of SoCs.
So it actually says memory and CPU vendors. Is that what you wanted to
Yeah,
change?
so memory, of course, has to be there, right? Because it's memory attached to something. And I mean, if you look at that, what we have done so far, of course, clearly CPUs, but in fact, your CPUs also nowadays they call SoCs,
Sure. That should
right?
be-
And if you keep it more generic, then because we are not just talking about CPU alone, right? There's so many flavors.
Yeah, I'm just seeing where else we have mentioned.
I see. So CPU is being used so much, huh? Is SoC used here? Control F. Let's see. If there is a consistency,
It's-
then it's okay.
Or CPU/SoC. So replace everywhere we have CPU with CPU/SoC to make it clear.
I do see SoC also being used. So looks like each SoC accelerator vendor will have their own. Oh boy. So there's some
Yeah,
places where
here it's SoC/accelerator. Looks like we've,
Mhm.
yeah, that's not relevant, but. So, Anil, are you suggesting we do a full sweep and change it to CPU/SoC?
I just want to be consistent so that it doesn't look like.
I'm gonna leave a comment then.
And keep it generic so that coverage is broader, right? So the impact of this document would be across multiple silicon, let's say. And so SoC is a more generic, right? System on a chip. It could be CPU, it could be accelerator.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave this as a comment. I still don't know where Drew is with the steering committee, so I don't want to make, format changes, etc. is fine, but the rest I'm gonna just take as comments for now.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. And SoC
And then-
should really be SoC, not S with small o.
Yeah.
Some of the figures have different fonts also. Maybe we need to clean that up.
Which one?
Some like the figure on figure 1, right? It's good, legible. And then if you go to figure 2, the fonts is too small.
Oh,
And then figure 3, I think looks even smaller, or maybe same.
yeah.
If you have to
I
break,
do think if we increase the font, then other than the green box, which has space, the rest of them are gonna actually require redraw.
yeah, the box can be increased a little bit more so that like text fits into there. Just maybe add a comment and let Drew. If I mean, we can do it. I mean, Drew doesn't have to bog down with. Area 14. Okay. Oh, I see. So actually, figure does have the right font. Just he was trying to squeeze in. Let me see.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh,
Hello?
hey, Drew.
Hey, I am so sorry. I am in SoCal moving my son to a new college apartment and totally lost track that it was Tuesday. I am so sorry.
No worry.
Thank you for work on this. So I was looking, Yogesh departed for India, and I've got a note from Alicia Shop for this submission that says that she's asking about a CLA. And I don't know, did we sign a CLA for the other documents? I mean, like we do when it's a specification. I guess we may need to.
I thought we kept this one open, right?
Well, yeah, and so there are two reasons. There are two different kinds of CLA groups. There's one, like the Redis API requires a CLA to because it's a spec and we're protecting the spec. This one's more a requirements document, so I didn't think we need to. So I'm going to work with her in Yogesh's absence to try to figure this out. We need to I guess we need to figure out what the plan is.
Yeah, that would be straightforward. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try to avoid it. So I'll let you all know. I'm working on the submission though. I guess in Yogesh's place.
Would a CLA, would that mean we would each one of us would have to take it to our corporate lawyers and have them sign off?
Yeah, and they do it in other groups
No,
because
but one second, Drew. I think everybody who is part of this OCP Workstream sub-project should have already signed at least one CLA, which is very open generic. Like every time you sign, anyone signed up with the OCP portal, right? As a member, you need to sign something.
well,
And that's it.
but in an open meeting you can attend without signing any CLA. So,
Yeah. The conference bridge is open for everybody, but anybody who wants to contribute, right, or submit any document, it's a very generic CLA, saying that we cannot sue OCP. That's essentially the point is.
well, no, it's a little different than that. It's a contributor license agreement. So it's saying that contributing your bit of the information in the document without requiring royalties or anything from the other companies. It's like we're sharing so that we can build a spec that is usable. So I will work with Alicia to figure that out. I mean, what you're saying is true, but it's just in addition. They're just trying to make it so you don't encumber the spec. So I'll ask her.
So Drew, before you join, I don't know whether this is already like sort of frozen and sent to the steering committee or not, but we did make a few like fonts and small edits. And Roy has some comments that he's going to add on to the document later today.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's a big deal. We haven't yet that I don't think so. I can, but I do plan to send it to her imminently. So, so what's the plan for getting those done? I'm not trying to be pushy. Well, I am trying to be pushy a little bit so I can get it to her. But I mean, if you need the time, that's fine, and we can send it this afternoon. What can you show me what we need to do?
Oh, so I mean, right now we didn't do anything. We just put in like, page numbers here
Yeah,
and nothing substantial, nothing I think in the contributor section there was some cleanup required, which Majes has already done. So There was a comment that it needs to be consistent with the FM spec, but, you know, I feel like we can make that spec consistent with this just as easily as we can do it the other way around. So whichever is closer to submission, that's the one that just should stay, I
Okay.
think.
I think
just-
this one is the closer one to submit. I mean, this one's in the process of being submitted, so we've started the process. But
Okay,
we just haven't uploaded the document. You start by like writing a summary of the document and coordinating with the steering committee. So that's happened here, but not there. So let's
so I think the main thing is, Roy, if you're still on the line, I can't see when I'm sharing.
yeah, I'm still
Roy
here.
mentioned that.
Actually, my comment is a minor one, so we can proceed to submit this to the commit member.
Thanks, Roy. Hey, and
Um,
there is an empty line in the table though, so we can do stuff like get rid of that. We don't need to separate Anil from the rest of us.
So Drew, have you seen any other OCP document with the author list or contributor list format?
I think so. I'd have to go back and look. I thought, you know, and I thought didn't we do that with the? I don't think it really matters that much.
I mean, I don't see people putting titles in a public document like this. The title can keep changing, right?
Oh, we can take those out. I don't really care.
The name of the person, I mean, company can also change, but company is fine. I mean, because
Well, the company should probably be there just to. That's kind of important because if you know there's heartache or questions or anything, people know who to go to for their company. So that's important.
right.
But I don't really care about the titles. So, you know, all I ask is whatever we do, let's do quickly. So,
I'm going to open a couple other documents to see if there's some consistency here. The other comment we discussed was in the problem statement.
This one, right?
Yeah. So we are saying memory and CPU vendors. And in some part of document, we are using SOC/accelerator. And when I was reading it, I felt that the CPU naming convention is very restrictive because memory can be attached to generic SOCs, could be any other type of component. So should we change the CPU to SOC or CPU/SOC?
let's make it CPU/SOC. If that's okay. I mean, you said I saw what you said on the right, and it made sense to me.
Yeah, and then there are a few other places we are using SOC/accelerator. So maybe we can change that to CPU/SOC also.
So this one is with the, you want it with the uppercase O, right, Anil?
Yeah.
That's the way it's typically the upper, lower, upper is the way it's typically done. But whatever, it doesn't matter to me.
No, yeah, let's keep it acronym generally. You should have. I know people have used small o also.
Well, because it's a short word. Was it a participle? I can't remember, but a preposition.
oh, you mean sock is like gets into trouble?
No, it's just a preposition. So people lower. It's because of title case. So they apply title case to the acronym, but it doesn't really matter. Let's just pick something and go with it. You know, as long as we get it done quickly. It doesn't really change the meaning, so I don't really care.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we are trying
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
So I think this should do it then. Anil, good with this?
Yeah.
All right.
You replace everywhere, right?
I looked for SoC everywhere and changed it to CPU SoC. I don't know if you want to change CPU everywhere to CPU SoC because some places it just really does mean CPU. I think. Do you want to change it everywhere to CPU SoC vendors, CPU SoC memory domain experts? Or
That's okay. As long as the meaning is not restricted to CPU only. Okay.
Drew, what do you need from the group now for this document? So since Roy's comments we can come in a next rev, what does this team need to do?
I don't think anything. I think well, I guess maybe CLA, but so I'm looking at the document from Alicia, and I think now I'm just going to have a debate with her about what we have signed. So
Okay, so did you want to share the poison doc here, or is that too little time now?
I can introduce it.
I'm gonna.
So, by the way, after this, Drew, I would like to propose start discussing on beyond DDR5. And what that means is LPDDR.
Yeah, that was something that Roy and I talked about as well. So I think let's that was always our intent, was to shift to something beyond just DDR5. So why don't we just talk about that next time, and we can start figuring out what memory technology is next. And I'm worried about LPDDR, so that's fine with me. There's also, HBM, and maybe what we should do is figure out how we want to tackle those, because we want to tackle both of them. We don't have to tackle both of them at the same time, and we can prioritize one, but I don't know how to prioritize them. So
Yeah.
is it okay if I aligned with you generally. We just need to discuss it and work it out.
Yeah, and I agree. HBM also is an important one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's fair. I mean, I think that's what we want to do, and so we'll next time we get together, we can work through that. And what I'll do, I'll take this time just to introduce the poison document, and I've moved it. This is internal on Microsoft's,
Drew, one second, sorry to interrupt you. By the way, I opened the PCI spec, and they have acknowledgements toward the end, and they have two columns, name and affiliation.
Okay, well, let's do that then. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Let's just make the change and accept that. Okay. So can you see the document I'm sharing?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've moved this to the link on the screen, and I pasted that link in the chat. The word, if you click that link, it may turn it into a Word document or a Google Docs version of a Word document. And if things look funny, that's why. So you can also go out there and download it from. You can say info and show me the folder it's in, and then download it from that folder. But the document just gives an overview of poison and for how to clear it, and this is not intended to be new information. This isn't intended in any way to invent anything. It is just poison is corruption, and so I talk about what is poison and how does it work. And poison is generated when data is corrupt. Poison is an attribute of a tracked memory address, so it travels with data, not with the address. So if an address gets corrupted, you don't know the scope of the damage, and you can't poison. So it talks about things like that. And Vilas, and Dean and Mita kept me honest here. With tons and tons of feedback, and Yogesh reviewed it as well. Charlie gave me some good feedback, but anyway, so then we just talk about poison generation, poison consumption. Poison generation is really where you know what broke. You say, I found a problem, I'm poisoning something, and so when you repair the system, you need to pay attention to the generation. When you consume it, your correct poison handling prevents you from corrupting data. But the fact that you consume poison at a particular address, doesn't really mean that memory address is broken. It means that memory address is poisoned, and that poison could have come from many sources. So you really have to pay attention to generation. And so I gave an example of a memory uncorrected.
Drew, sorry to interrupt you. I typically use poison source and poison destination.
Well, yeah, I mean, this document's being submitted, so I gave it to you earlier for comment, but I'm not really. I mean, if you find something egregiously incorrect, let me know. But
it's incorrect. That's something. Poison consumption never happens, and whenever I see poison consumption, I always make a comment.
well, we
never
talk
commit
about
poison.
attempted. We call it
it's attempted, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So this document describes it right. And Anil, yeah, I mean, it's just a little late because I'm in the process of submitting it. So, but I did, you do have an earlier link to this doc.
I do. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I sent it to you. So,
Okay. Take a look at it.
yeah. So anyway, I did send it to you, but if you find anything egregiously wrong, let me know. But I'm not at this point. I've been working on this for like a long time, so I'm not in a hurry to change it because we've been really hammering it out.
I think other thing you just mentioned, the poison is not covering a metadata. That is not true either.
Oh yeah, it is.
In fact, I've seen some implementations in a very.
If that's a mistake, if that's been done. So that was because the problem is you don't know the scope of the damage. Poison is where you know the scope of the damage, and so if the metadata is corrupted, you've lost coherency, and you don't know where the damage is. So you need to go viral or sync flood. So anyway, but we can talk about that. We should talk about it in our next 101. And then I go over a CPU cache example. I go over common sources of poison, and then software responses. So what does software do to contain it? You can terminate the OS, terminate the VM, close an application. You can reload a read-only segment. You can prevent it by, tracking the poison memory and avoiding it, marking pages bad. And you can use partial memory mirroring. And then there's IO error containment. And one thing I learned interesting yesterday, Anil, that I wanted to ask you about is in this document, I talk about like you can check the device, and if the device doesn't work, you can set up downstream port containment. But one thing I heard from Vilas yesterday is he said downstream port containment might not apply to all completions. So if you have an endpoint that does a DMA into the host, and the host responds with a poisoned completion, that would be a completion with data in PCIe terminology, that might get through DPC. Do you know if that's a problem?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my microphone died. Or maybe speaker. What happened? Sorry.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. So what you're saying is if the host to device request goes and the device is sending data back.
Well, there's the other way. It's device to host. So let's say the device has a DMA engine, and it requests memory requests an access to main memory.
Okay.
Then what happens is the root port responds with a completion with data, and that and what Vilas was saying is he's going into details, but he thinks the completion with data might not trigger DPC, and if the completion with data is poisoned.
If the DPC is enabled on the link between the SoC and switch, because when the data is sent from host to the switch on this link, and it has a poison bit set, basically poison TLP. This depends upon the implementation, right?
Okay.
If the memory when you read in the host has uncorrected error and poison bit is set, that data when it comes to the root port, ideally the root port when it converts to TLP header, it should set the poison bit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Right.
So
it becomes a poison received. And now if the DPC is enabled on that link, the poison received itself will trigger DPC. Means it won't even allow. Okay.
well, and what Vilas was saying, there were corner cases where if the root port initiates the transaction, then it's just a poison TLP that that will trigger DPC. And he was saying a completion with data that is poisoned wouldn't. So I'm
Kind
not
of-
aware of that. It
Kind
doesn't
of
sound.
depends on how the PCI Express endpoint treats that completion with data. So if it treats that completion with data as something that results in a poison TLP uncorrected error message being sent, that's also going to cause DPC.
Yeah. Now we can disable that because it depends, right? The topology. If the DPC is enabled, then that poison receive will trigger DPC. But if DPC is not enabled, then the data will travel all the way to the switch, and the switch will not touch it, right? So switch downstream port. Again, it depends, right? If switch downstream port,
Switch might support DPC too, right?
Yeah, no. So switch downstream port. If it enable DPC, and it receives the packet, it doesn't matter whether completion because from the switch point of view it doesn't matter, right? It's just it's the data is transparent. It's the data coming in as a TLP with the poison bit set. So it is going to detect as a receive poison, and receive poison poison TLP receive bit is unmasked, right? Then it'll trigger DPC.
That's what I thought. So I'll
And-
work with Vilas on that
Right.
then and try to figure out where he saw that.
Yeah, I think there's something to what Vilas is saying though, because if it's received at the switch as a poison TLP packet, it could be taken as advisory non-fatal error, Anil, in which case DPC would not happen because it's an
You
intermediate
have to promote
receiver.
it.
No,
So if
poison
you're-
TLP is an uncorrected error. It can CVD can be non-fatal, which also sets as well as non-fatal bit in the
Yes,
status.
and so because
But
it's advisory non-fatal, you may not get the DPC from that. However, if that packet continues downstream to the endpoint, and the endpoint then ends up, the implementation of the endpoint is such that it causes an error message, a non-fatal or a fatal, depending on how poison is set, to the downstream port, that would cause the DPC.
Let me clarify something. So when the switch downstream port receives a TLP and has a poison bit set, and the poison TLP receive error severity is 0, there are two things will happen. It will log into uncorrected error status, poison TLP received, and also will log an ANF into corrected error status.
Correct.
Now, because it receives the uncorrected, because it detected uncorrected severity 0, and if it is unmasked, it will trigger DPC.
No, not
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
No, because if it's treated as an advisory non-fatal, it's not going to trigger the DPC, regardless of whether the error status bit is set in the uncorrected or not. I mean, if that's the case, then any unsupported request, bit that gets set is going to trigger a DPC, which is not the case.
Yeah, if you unmask it, it'll trigger. I do test. I mean, we have been testing it all along. Yeah, if you
But
unmask
isn't that like promoting it to fatal? I mean, that's DPC triggers on a number of fatal errors, and so I thought you just promote poison to TLP to fatal, and it'll trigger DPC just like the other fatal errors.
If it is fatal, yes, I agree. But if it's treated as advisory non-fatal, then I don't
think, Nita, you're confusing between advised non-fatal and non-fatal. Advised non-fatal is a correctable error status.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes,
Non-fatal is uncorrected error.
correct.
Okay. And as per the spec, in the AER, any uncorrected error, unmasked error will trigger DPC. It doesn't matter whether it's a fatal or non-fatal.
Agreed. At the point at the switch port, right?
Switch
But if
downstream
it is
port,
an advisory
Yeah.
non-fatal,
Well, see, we're using DPC and we don't trust the endpoint. So we don't trust the endpoint for anything,
Right.
so that's why we use it.
Yeah, the spec is written that way, right? So people get confused between advised non-fatal. Yes, you're right. If the uncorrected status is not set or masked, and the only thing is advised non-fatal, because it will also set advised non-fatal bit in the corrected status, then that is alone is not sufficient to trigger DPC. You're right about that.
yes.
But the fact that it is setting uncorrected status register also, and if it is unmasked, two things need to happen, right? Unmasked, uncorrected status, and uncorrected error, the poison TLP receive. Actually, just one second. My bad. This is not poison TLP receive. In this case, it will be poison TLP egress. My bad, sorry. Because poison TLP receive is actually received from the context of the link. So in this case, it's the egress. And there's a poison TLP egress error type defined in the spec. So if the poison goes out of the switch downstream port and the poison TLP egress bit is unmasked in uncorrected error status, then it will trigger DPC. And if the DPC is enabled, and the packet will be dropped, it'll never get the endpoint will never receive it. Sorry, endpoint will receive a master. One second, when it's dropped. So what will happen is the PCI endpoint will not receive it, and sorry, it goes in DPC, so it will be master aborted. So yeah, so the endpoint will receive master abort data or master abort message, like all ones, because completion has to be completed, right? We can't drop the completion. So once the link goes into DPC, then the end device PCI interface will master abort to the GPU. Make sense?
So we should probably continue this discussion, but we're out of time. In a future meeting, I'm interested in bottoming out. But you
Yeah,
can.
Yeah, Amita, let's talk offline because I want to make sure that you're, and I'll show you in the spec where it is
I mean,
correct.
I can kind of inject it and show you as well, but
Yeah,
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 sure.
yeah. Let's work on it because I would like to learn. If I'm doing something wrong, then I would like to understand.
Well, and if you would share what you learned, because what I've done is we've set a DPC on cards we didn't trust and brought the link.
By the way,
down.
I've tested a UR also. If I unmask it, it does trigger DPC.
It can, yeah.
If
Yeah.
it's a fatal, and if
No,
it's
no,
not
non-fatal,
from a
non-fatal, non-fatal.
non-fatal from a non-posted, it
Any-
has to, if it's from a posted, of course, it's going to cause a DPC.
This is a bigger topic. Let's set up some time. I can show you.
Yeah, sounds good.
And Anil, I'd like to suggest also we come back to the hardware fault management meeting with this topic and go over DPC a little bit more too, because it sounds like we need to write a document on DPC.
Sure. I've written document internally, pretty elaborate document, educating the whole meta team.
Yeah, but if we could publish one, like if you're willing to submit it and we can review it and publish it as a best practice for DPC, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, we're out of time, but I sent that link to the doc, and we will. I will next week. I will let you know what comes of my discussion with the OCP folks. Okay, thanks a bunch. We're
Thanks.
getting there. We're very close. And again, I apologize for being late. I was totally distracted with my move going on. So thank you for your patience.
Thanks, Drew. Take
Okay.
care.
Bye.
Talk to y'all later.
Take care.
Bye.